From your memories of hip hop at that time, what ethnicities were you seeing around? Was there a lot of Puerto Ricans involved in hip hop at that time?
Hells yeah, let's get that right. First of all, I'm glad you touched on that, yo. Let's jump into that subject. Because I've been hearing a lot of talk lately that the Puerto Ricans had nothing to do with the beginning of hip hop. You're wrong, dead wrong. You're talking to a guy right now that was a damn witness. I didn't hear this from my parents. I didn't watch it in a video. It ain't hearsay. I was there, my man. So was the other billion other Puerto Ricans. Puerto Ricans was neck and neck with the blacks. At that time, there was really no whites. So it was just in the South Bronx, it was straight up blacks and Puerto Ricans. And they like to say Latin. All due respect to the Latins, to our Mexican, Dominicans, and all that. But again, we're talking about the 80s. And, it was straight Puerto Ricans. I'm sure you had a little Dominican here and there, but 95% of the Latins were straight Puerto Ricans. I mean, we have Puerto Rican MCs, that's what we used to call them back then. We didn't call them rappers. The breakdancing crew was Puerto Rican, the Rocksteady crew, Crazy Legs. The graffiti guys, Reverend, D5, all Puerto Rican. I don't know how these guys have the balls to say that the Puerto Ricans had nothing to do with hip hop. You're wildin' right now.
It started in the South Bronx, and then you started to witness it spread all over New York.
Yes, it started in the South Bronx. I mean, the first group that I could remember, there was probably earlier, but as far as my memory goes back, was Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. And it was the South Bronx. Again, they would bring the DJ equipment out to the parks. They would run the crazy long extension cord to the light posts. And that's how they used to get the electricity for the DJ equipment.
That's crazy.
They would steal the electricity from the light poles, and no permit, no nothing. The cops ain't say nothing. You set up your equipment, you start jamming, and word of mouth, people heard the music, and they would come from all over. Again, this is what the teenagers was into. Nowadays the teenagers are into video games and all that. Back then, we was into the jam. That's what we didn't even call it hip hop or rap. We called it the jam.
How long would you say it took before it spread to the other boroughs of New York?
Not long, but it definitely originated in the Bronx. I mean, even in the Hall of Fame for rap, they at least gave us that much. They gave us that much respect. When you talking about the history of hip hop or rap, they specifically say it was in the South Bronx. They're correct with that. And they also have to be correct that the Puerto Ricans was running 50-50 with the blacks. As far as MCing, graffiti, I used to go with your boy Fat Joe to the train yards because he used to tag crack, but we're going to get into that later.
Yeah, it's interesting because he got some flack for that recently, not too long ago, actually.
I heard. I don't know. I don't believe it, Panda. I just don't believe it. They're straight up trying to rewrite history. How can you cut us out of history, my man? You're wildin'. They're really trying to act like they're the American. American schools are real good for cutting out history. You know what I mean? I'm a big history buff. For those that don't know, the Greeks did not call themselves the Greeks. The ancient Greeks, they did not call themselves the Greeks. The American government started calling them the Greeks, and we only know what we know, and that's what they teach us in the school. I also have another episode of history not taught in public American schools. I got the crazy episodes. Charlie Rock LD repping the real. Y'all gotta peep my podcast is off the meters.